Welcome into the Film Guy Network. It's football season, which means I've got a film study for you.
What's up? Really like that. You really like that?
Let's shut up and grab some tape.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome into the Film Guy Network on a fabulous Tuesday morning here inside the studio. Yesterday, Jonathan, we broke down Fernando Mendoza, the consensus number one overall pick. I believe the Las Vegas Raiders are ultimately going to take him. I think they should. We'll talk about that towards the end of this film study with regards to why Ty Simpson is ultimately quarterback too. But I felt like it would be a good idea, Jonathan, to watch Mendoza yesterday with the audience and then bring today Ty Simpson, because the parallels in what they were asked to do could not be any more different, right? We talked about it yesterday with Mendoza, and it's honestly pretty scary about his, projection, what we have to talk about with regards to what we're going to ask him to do on Sundays versus what he was asked to do on Saturdays. I mean, it's very RPO dependent over there at Indiana. It's been talked about ad nauseum, but not a lot of pure progression throws, not a lot of, hey, let's collect information in our drop. Hell, not a lot of drops in what we watched yesterday in our film study of Mendoza from a, 3 and 5 step drop standpoint. We're going to watch this today from Ty Simpson, and it is everything we want to see from a can he do what we ask people to do on Sundays standpoint. He's getting asked to do NFL stuff. Now, here's the major concern about Ty. The weight of the world was put on his shoulders last year at Alabama. They couldn't protect him. They didn't have a run game. All the stuff that, bad NFL teams have, right? Teams that are drafting inside the top 5. All those teams can't protect quarterbacks. They don't have good weapons. They don't have good running backs, right? Because they're drafting at the top of the draft, right? So he had all those situations happening last year at Alabama, and his body physically did not survive a 15-game or 14-game season. That would be my major concern. I tweeted about it before we got into this today. If I'm drafting Fernando Mendoza, I have to project his ability to play a pro-style system. It's a lot of mind. It's a lot of, ability to get a bunch of reps at it. It's a lot of projection in his ability to retain information and process information. I think we feel safe about that with Mendoza. I think that's okay. It's projection is something that he hasn't done from a physical standpoint that he's capable of doing, right? With Ty Simpson, I have to project his ability to stay healthy through a 17-game season and playoffs year after year after year. And the only guy to be able to do it so far is Drew Brees, by the way. So that would scare me about him. But hey, maybe he is one of those ones. I think he certainly is from an execution and processing standpoint. This is one of my favorite guys to study from a college football quarterback standpoint, and I think you'll notice that throughout this study. Hey, we got a couple of rules around here. If you learned anything about the game of football today, you must subscribe. If you learned anything about your favorite football team today, you must subscribe. And if you have any fun at all today, you must subscribe. Let's shut up and let's grind the tape. So this is what I'm talking about, Jonathan, we asked him to do on Saturdays what I know I'm going to have to do on Sundays, right? Let's look at what the defense is doing first and foremost. Okay, as the ball, as we approach the line of scrimmage, his butt is to the sideline. He looks like he's the lone single high player, right? And we have a butt to the sideline over here. If I was a quarterback, I'm walking to the line of scrimmage thinking, that's cover 3. As an offense, we've got 2 posts coming over here and a shallow cross. All right, if it is indeed cover 3, I'm probably going to start my read in this double post half because we only have one middle field hole player. All right, well, as the ball gets snapped down set hut, they actually roll, Jonathan, into a 2-deep structure. Okay, he's got the hash to over here. He's got the hash to over here. Now, what looked like a double post progression has now worked to a shallow cross progression. We're actually going to work Isaiah Horton over this way. All right, we get to the top of our drop. We're already there. We take one hitch, and I want you to look at this anticipatory throw into what looks like a cloudy window with a lot of underneath defenders, right, Jonathan? We got a lot of people shallow underneath this shallow cross. Not if we throw it with good pace and anticipation where our guy can go get it. Isaiah Horton, we got to make this catch for our quarterback here early on in the football game. I love this about Alabama as well because Like, hey, he's collecting a lot of information. The sideline's collecting a lot of information. We're running a full operation at the line of scrimmage, right, Jonathan? Flipping projections, saying yes, can. We like the play that we called, whatever have you, whatever the adjustment is. But we're controlling it all in and of our own right? Same thing we're going to have to do on Sunday when we give him the full workload. Let's watch him collect all the information in his drop, right? See, boom, we see that safety rotation before we even get to the top of our full 5-step drop, one hitch. Not a lot of that going on in college football nowadays, okay? Again, if you want to watch what we had going on yesterday with Mendoza, we didn't see a lot of this, right? We didn't see a lot of this deep, full progression, collect a lot of information, get an anticipatory throw. Look at that window that he threw that ball into, Jonathan. That's trusting it, right? That's trusting the progression. That's trusting the concept of the defense and where we need to put that football. Isaiah, I need that ball caught. Okay, here we go. Same kind of picture, Jonathan. Different result, different answer needed from the quarterback, okay? Watch. We got that same single high, middle of the field is closed, right? Okay, downset hut, ball gets snapped, they start rotating. Middle half player, okay? Two high structure from Georgia, all right? That's almost like a Tampa 2, right? These curl flat players got hard flat. Anything to the hard flat, they got it, right? KJ, hard to the flat. Dalen Everett sitting, kind of squatting hard to the flat down here in the bottom of the structure. However, Kyron Jones plays out of his responsibilities. His front side near half safety wants to bite down on that tight end for some unknown reason. We got a naked streaker running down the middle of this field, Jonathan, because he is not playing on his half hash. All right, so now the answer as we get to the top of the drop is actually a busted coverage. We've got Ryan Williams running down the middle of the field. We thought pre-snap, cover 3, middle field's closed, right? We're going to have to work that dagger as we get to the back of our drop. We get to the top of our drop, they roll the coverage, the answer changes on us as we are collecting the information in the drop. That's big time stuff, right? Ryan Williams, I need you to catch the damn ball, okay? Tough start right here for the wide receivers from Alabama on this film study. Amen? Mm-hmm. We call that on the half roll, Jonathan. It's not a full play action roll. It's a half roll. We're going to settle up. Okay? We want to re-establish the pocket right there on the half roll. Come on, dog. Come on, dog. You go to all these college practices, Jonathan, every deep ball that goes up in the air, if it gets caught, the whole sideline goes, brrr. I don't know what that is. We went from a brrr to a, oh, you know what I mean? All right, here we go. We got 3rd and 10 right here. That's an indication of we can't run the damn ball, right? Yep. 3rd and 10, an indication of we can't run the damn ball. All right, looks to me that we're about to get another version of cover 3. All right, so what we got going on, we got cover 3. Now, here's what I want you to notice from him. He recognizes pressure, okay? And this 5-step drop becomes condensed, Jonathan. Watch how tight this 5-step drop is as compared to what he had going on just a minute ago, okay? The depth's not as, we're not as deep. It's almost a 5-step drop within 3.5 yards, right? We started that thing at, the 32, and we're going to end our top of our drop at about the 26. My math's wrong. Yeah, it's about the 26 and a half, okay? So not as deep. We shallow it up because we know we're getting pressure, right? We know we're getting pressure, and we have the answer pre-snap. They stay in that cover 3 look. We like that out route. All right, 3rd and 10, get to the sticks, give them a good catchable ball down there on the sideline. All right? And also love that in our full 5, watch how square we stay, Jonathan. Watch how square down this midline with our shoulders and eyes we stay in this drop. That's the stuff, right? That's the stuff. No floating that drop at all. Boom, get to the top of it, let it rip on time. Now, does not have the biggest arm in the world. We know this about him. It's very obvious about him. He's not the biggest football player in the world. We talked about that to start. But we can get away with all that if we play on time, if we play with the right decisions, if we read leverage properly, right, if we're accurate with the football, all right, all that good stuff. Now, I love him. I'm worried about the health. I'm worried about the physical frame. Talked enough about it. I did find a deficiency today, Jonathan. Some things that I didn't realize, like, okay, rewatching him over and over again, I'm like, okay, we're not as good as I thought we were in this area. On the throws on the move, we're not great. We're not great. We don't have the biggest arm, particularly rolling right. And when you stack these players up like this, you really find out what somebody's really good at and what somebody might not be great at. Mendoza's so good on the run to the right and to the left, right, with elite arm strength and power. This ball should be picked off, okay? This ball should be picked off, and the reason being, we can't get our body into it, right? We have pressure in our face off this naked rollout. All right, we're trying to hit this shallow crosser, or deep over rather, to Isaiah Horton. Okay, we got pressure in our face. He's going to hit us. We can't get through this all the way. Okay, we can't extend. It's a little bit more arm than we expect, and we underthrow the ever-loving you-know-what out of that. That ball should be going back the other way, as should the result in this football game. I think this game changes right here if this ball gets picked off in Athens, okay, second drive of the football game, or first drive of the football game. He goes on to go 4 for 4 on third down in this drive, and they go on to score. Completely different momentum, I believe, early on in the game if this goes the other way. Now, we watched this yesterday from Mendoza over and over again. This is one of their staples, right? Roll right for him. And they were darts every single time, okay? Also think he's got a little bit more juice as an athlete, does Mendoza. Haven't watched him. He pulls away a little bit more as a roller, all right, and as a scrambler, I think. All right, so I got to remember that all my numbers are one play behind, Jonathan. Now, this is also the thing that I love about watching this game in particular, this chess match going on between DeBoer, all right, and Georgia. Do you notice what's happening right now at the line of scrimmage? All right, here's my interpretation. I'm not going to ask you, Jonathan. My interpretation is we lined up, we saw what the defense did. We said this right here, can is my interpretation of what that is, meaning we like what we called in the huddle. We're going to run it, all right? Well, watch what Georgia does here on 3rd and 7. We call this checking the checks, right? Georgia's going to show something, all right, and then play something totally different after the play is set, all right? Well, here's the check with checks operation, all right? They were showing man. Now they're going to check to a zone coverage right as the ball gets snapped, Jonathan. I think that's what happens. Yes, that is what happens, okay? Let's watch that back from the top. I'm all bamboozled with my notes being kerfuffled, all right? So, tight end trades right there, and the nickel doesn't travel. Can I get the... I have to cut this out too. I freaked the system out. All right, let's start from the top. Can. We trade the tight end, okay? Watch Jonell. You see Jonell sprinting across? Oh, shit, I got the tight end, okay? Showing man coverage. Everything is, right? Shoulder square, shoulder square, shoulder square, shoulder square, single high. Looks like man coverage, right, Jonathan? All right, so Alabama checks again. They got a man beater. They want to get into a man beater. What they're going to do is they're going to run him vertical and spray him out. They're trying to rub this man concept, okay? But watch Georgia, okay? Georgia in the chess match, they're going to flip it again. They're going to travel the nickel over, all right? And now they're going to play zone coverage as the ball gets snapped. Boom, butt to the sideline from Dalen Everett. Now we got 3 over 2. Inside, outside, over the top. Simple cover 2 structure over here. Do you see that now, Jonathan? Lot of changing parts going on. Watch this cat, okay? Where are his eyes right now? His eyes are on that corner. He has already noticed. Butt to the sideline. What's he know? Zone immediately, okay? So now he's actually going to flip it. We were reading this in man coverage. We were reading that rub route, right? That out route from the tight end. We flipped the rules now. We see zone coverage. We're going to test this vertical into that cover 2 window. We call that a hole throw. All right, it's a hole shot right there. We got to throw it on time and put it up above that corner and inside and get it back down before that safety hits them. All right? Guys, this is what's asked to do from quarterbacks on Sundays. I don't watch a lot of the Sunday League, but I would imagine they're doing this to them. Is that correct? Okay. He's getting all that pre-snap, okay? I believe they played Missouri pretty closely after this, right? They played Vandy, and then they played Missouri. I vividly remember Eli Drinkwitz at his pre-game press conferences being like, well, we know the cat can tear up cover 2. Like, don't be out here playing cover 2 against them because, man, really anticipatory with his throws, right? Okay, so This is what I was really frustrated with as an analyst watching this game and then covering who we cover from a real intimate standpoint. I heard a lot of, man, Georgia didn't do anything to try to, mix it up. Bull crap. You just saw the pre-snap design, right? They've been playing a bunch of zone early to start this football game. He's been tearing them up on third down. They get him into 3rd and 8 again because they eliminated the run. I think Alabama rushed for 42 yards in this football game. All right, now they're trying to play a bunch of man coverage. All right, they tried to show man and then play zone. Now they're going to play man straight up across the board with a little bit of exotic, right? Show some sim. All right, get some pressure home because Alabama can't protect at all. All right, we get him pushed up in the pocket. We get man coverage, and he beats us with the ball. I mean, it really was no answer, right? He beat us with his brain early, and now he's beating us with his ball. Hello? He's got you picked. That right there lets you know. All right. And when I watch these quarterbacks that have full autonomy at the line of scrimmage, Jonathan, it's all pre-signals. Like when you watch Peyton back in the day, like whatever his magical sauce with the pre-signaling operation was that week, they had him dialed. You know what I mean? It's all communication at the line of scrimmage when we have this much autonomy. Okay. Great ball. All right, I want you to notice, if you see this kid altering his drop, right, we showed you that full 5, stern, discipline, right down the line of scrimmage, shoulders square. So if he's ever doing anything funky back there, I assume he's doing it because of timing. Okay, so we got a very, short yardage situation right here, or not short yardage for them. Short yardage this year in 2026 for Alabama was 3rd and 7. They didn't get many 3rd and 2s because they couldn't run the damn ball. But anyways, this is a short yardage situation for them, and a lot going on right here. We got a trips, all right, stack, or a trips bunch rather, that gets 5 or 6 yards downfield, and they're still meshed together. You know what I mean? We got a lot spraying out right here. We got Jeremy working in. We got Lotsier Brooks working vertical. We got Ryan Williams working out. Okay, so we're going to do this like a flower concept, right? We got the sprout. I would call that sprout, Jonathan. It looks like something sprouting down the middle. All right, so we got that going on about 6 to 7 yards down the field. All right, so our drop gets a little bit funky right here. And I think, Jonathan, all we're doing is trying, I called it back foot timing. All right, so there's our standard 3. All right, we take a funky hitch. Watch this. I was really, really slowing this down, so I might have gotten nerdy on this. But I found it really, really fun watching him all he's trying to do is time up that back foot so when it strikes, I can get ready to rip it when the timing actually opens up in the route. You see him hopping? We get up to onto like that right there. Do you ever see a quarterback take a drop on his left foot? You know, all he's trying to do is make sure he's ready to hit that right foot back strike. All right, because that's all we're doing as a thrower. I've talked about, I wish I had camera one. I've talked about this for years. If you go watch your toddler throw a ball, the first thing he's going to do is plant his back foot. It's something human. We have to get our center of mass back underneath our back foot, right? I call it back foot strike in the quarterback world is what we call that, all right? Look at him manipulating his drop to time that back foot up, all right? And then we want to paint a shoulder, all right? It's a coaching term I forgot to put on the board over here, okay? When we're throwing these curls, these spacing routes, when we're throwing into windows where we have a defender on his outside and defender on his inside, the ball is not to be thrown directly to his chest, okay? We are to paint a shoulder. Pick a shoulder that we know is most favorable for him after the catch, okay? So what shoulder should we paint right here, Jonathan?
I'd say his left shoulder.
His inside shoulder, right? We want to paint that inside shoulder, turn him back the other way. Boom. All right. Let's talk concepts here. Do we get a trade here? I think he flips. No, he doesn't. Okay. Here's the concept. We've got the high corner. We've got the shallow cross. All right. And I think somebody gets to the arrow now. Is that what we got going on? I think that's what we got going on. Let me take a look. Nope. We had the bender backside. So we got this high corner shallow cross that has an option to sit down, the hot arrow, all right, and then the running back ultimately checks down over here. All right, so that's what we got going on. Now, we would read this probably 1 to 2 to dig backside 3. All right, that would be the progression. Let's take it from the top. That get drawn up like crap? No, it looked okay? All right. So there's the shallow cross. All right, the high corner is going to get taken away by this safety. We like his leverage as a defense, right? That high corner probably shut off. All right, he's already shut it off. So, yeah, the answer is yes. This shallow cross is already getting shut down. The wide receiver is gearing down right now because there's defenders right in front of his face, okay? So 1 got shut off, 2 got shut off. We're going to get to 3 right here, okay, is what I'm trying to show you. All right, now, what's really impressive is when you watch this from the back cut and you see the window, okay? This is why this is so important from a can he do it. First of all, play action pass. We put the ball into the belly of the back and turned our back to the defense. Didn't see that once yesterday, did we? Okay, so there's first and foremost. We're going to get to the third read in the progression. We didn't see that once yesterday, did we? Doesn't mean he can't do it. It means he wasn't asked to do it a ton. This kid's getting asked to do it 17 times a game. All right, so we shut the high post off, all right, or high corner rather. We shut the shallow off. Now we're already working back to the dig. Look how well our feet are planted right over here. And look at this window we're about to throw this football into, Jonathan. We're ready to rip right now. That looks really, really closed for us, doesn't it? But we're throwing into this window with good anticipation and good timing and good accuracy, all right? And we got a big chunk play right there. Love this. This is a non-Ty Simpson related portion of this study, but it's a football related portion of the study. Love this little what do you call it? Adjustment to waggle down here, play action waggle. Everybody run a waggle down here on the goal line. Everybody runs this, period. It's a good play action play. If you can assert the run, they really can anyways. But down here in the red zone, it's effective nonetheless because, hey, what do most teams do down here in this red area, Jonathan, as a defense?
Play cover 0.
Yeah, they play cover 0 or a lot of man coverage, right? Because the back end line is their safety. You can't really run past the back end zone, right? So that's our safety back there. We can play a bunch of man coverage. Waggle beats man coverage quite often. Georgia does a great job covering it right here, all right? And watch Isaiah Horton up here. Now, I think this is coached. We watched this during the season. I think it's coached because Isaiah Horton moves first. Watch him slow down and kind of sag off of this deep over, boom, right there, and get kind of behind those corners and safeties who are over pursuing the waggle play, right? Love this, okay? You can really see it from the tight. It's a kind of a timing thing between the quarterback and the wide receiver. Hey, if we get to this point in the progression, we're going to gear down instead of continuing to run into that sideline area over there, right? We're about to get to the near or the far hash over here. We're going to run out of space eventually, or worse, get our quarterback hit, right? We got free players off this deep play action, right? Boom, sag off, get him to a spot. They run it later in the year against Auburn as well, I think. 31 snaps into this game, 10 snaps into the study, first RPO, okay? First RPO. 31 plays, 1 out of 31, okay? 1 out of 31. Probably ran 2 of them in this entire game. We just got done watching a quarterback who was 25% of these. These are yes-nos, right? These are leverage reads. These are not progression reads. Sunday works off progression reads. Number one reason why we don't RPO in pro football. The ability to block downfield is different. In pro football, we get 2.5 yards. In college football, we get 3.5. The difference, I can step on the toes of the linebacker in college, right? I can really run up there. All right, the other thing is, in college football, you're my quarterback for 2.5, 3 years tops. You know, I don't really care if you break your body. You know what I mean? I just got to win. In pro football, I hope to hold on to you for 12. You know what I mean? I hope to hold on to you for 15, okay? Now, these types of RPOs where it's kind of like a, it's a run-pass option. There is no option for the quarterback to run, if that makes sense. It's running back wide receiver. You know, we call these gums in some offenses. Why would we call them gums? What do you do with gum when you're done with it?
Spit it out.
You spit it out. I want you to spit that thing out of that box, right? I want you to spit that thing out of that box. That box is heavy. Spit it out. They're becoming more prevalent in pro football too. Just not as prevalent. Okay? I think this is another miss on the move, Jonathan. We're going to roll left, okay? And I know why we missed it, but man, we pull this sucker bad, all right? We're a big pause show around here, right? Not only because we say such things, but when we watch quarterbacks, I want to pause the film when you release the football. By the way, I went through the film. I'm okay with the getting out of the pocket. All the options were shut down. We had to go create, all right? But anyways, that's the pause of the release, right? Where do you think we missed this football, Jonathan?
To the sideline.
To the left, right? We missed that thing to the sideline, correct. Reason being, man, are we leaning hard on that sucker, okay? Hey, even when we're rolling left, we got to figure out a way to shut that momentum down, all right, and finish through our target, not off of our target, okay? And that's what happens right here, and we missed that. I mean, that's a bad miss, okay? And again, watching yesterday's tape, I felt like these were some of the areas where Mendoza was strongest, right? I think the spot could be better right here, especially when we're comparing them to, if we're going to compare them to the other guy, which, by the way, if you're drafting a quarterback in the top 5, that's what you're doing. You're either moving up from Mendoza at 1 and beating the Raiders and offering the gambit, all right, or you're taking this guy late, all right. And if I'm taking this guy late or moving up to mortgage the organization for a quarterback, I have to compare the two, right? And Mendoza doesn't miss down here. I think this is a bad spot. I think his ball's got to be up higher and actually give Jeremy a chance. It kind of like flattens out late and hits him in the shoulder. Ball got to be up and away from that corner, right, Jonathan? Mm-hmm. I don't think our cameraman gets us over here. That's a little firm, isn't it? If we slow it down, I think we can track the ball. Yeah, that's a bad ball. We got to be better. Got to give him a chance to elevate, right? Okay. Now, I'm shocked, brother. I'm shocked. This to me was him all day, every day. I'm surprised he's not ripping the whole shot right here. Too high structure, right, Jonathan? 1 safety, 2 safety. He looked like he's going to sit flat, doesn't he? Okay, he's been sitting flat into this cover 2 most of the day right now. Why are we not ripping that? Safety did a good job getting off the hash, pushing towards the sideline, so maybe he doesn't like it, okay? But all day long, he's been ripping that when he comes back over here. He's also working left off the snap for some reason. We're looking at turn downs, right? Trying to be as critical as we possibly can be. Do we like that space?
Yeah.
I like that space too. Do we like this space down here?
Yeah.
I like that space too. It's 1st and 10, Jonathan. Mm-hmm. Okay? Last thing we can do is take a big boy sack right here, right?
Yep.
Okay, well, no offense to Caden Proctor and whoever that is. I think that's Gabe Harris over there rushing. But we ain't going to be able to park our ass back there in Sundays. You know what I mean? Like, we can't just sit there all day, and we definitely can't be rolling out like that too often when we get to Sundays. Hey, we completed the football. Great job. And we're correcting ourselves from previous mistakes because we passed the pause test right here. Watch how much squarer our shoulders are right here when we release this football. Okay, you see that? Mm-hmm. Now, we're still leaning because we're leaning left. We sink our front hip. That's a good job. All right, we're trying to do as much slowing of momentum as we possibly can. But I like the whole shot, didn't you? Mm-hmm. I like the tight end and the arrow, didn't you?
Yep.
Okay. Now, this right here, this is how you click through hitches, okay? We're going to say no to this front side tight end curl or hitch right here. We're going to say no based off his leverage before we even get to the top of our drop. Watch this. Before the weight even hits our back foot, right now, we're clicked off. Did you see how quick that happened, Jonathan? Okay, and then boom, we work over into this window over here and find number 2 right now. And we're going to rip that thing and put it on his face. Okay, watch it from the back. And again, I want y'all to watch Mendoza yesterday, come back, watch this today, and see how much of a difference is we have on tape. We say no, no, no right now. Boom. Quick, right? You see how quick that was? What's more important is watch how when we land, watch how perfect our base is, right? Boom, right underneath us. We're ready to shoot a jump shot, don't we, Jonathan? Okay, we're going to step off the midline, all right? Meaning we're going to take our 2 feet from here. All right, we're going to take that front foot. We're going to step off the midline so we can clear our back hip and rip that ball in front of the tight end's face. Okay? Whoa. Oop. That's it. Now, even that ball has some loop-de-loop to it, Jonathan. Look at it. Even that ball has some, it's kind of falling off of them at the end. It don't zip. All right, you know what I mean? It's kind of a good, runnable, placeable, catchable football. It don't have no, all right, it's not gonna, but his brain does. How quickly he processes this stuff, how quickly his feet move to where they're supposed to. That stuff's got twitch to it. That stuff's got zip to it, okay? Now, this is where we got to kind of hone him in. It's 3rd and 10. The guy ain't freaking missed all day, right? He ain't missed all day on 3rd down. We got a switch release. We're trying to fake the screen. First of all, hey, coach, 3rd and 10 screen and goes, ain't nobody biting. Ain't nobody biting on 3rd and 10 screen and goes. Hey, look how sagged off they are. It's 3rd and 10, brother. We know you ain't throwing the screen. All right, so that's first and foremost. All right, that shit is shut down. In my opinion, spit it out right now. Give the guy a chance. Let's go play. You know what I mean? I know it's 3rd and 10, but that's our best ball after the catch wide receiver that we have, right, Jonathan? Yeah. Let's give him a chance. Put the ball in front of him. Go give him a chance to go pick up the sticks. I trust him. Honest to God, I trust him far more than I trust you into that window. You should not be throwing that football, big dog. All right, live to fight another day. Let's go. And to be honest with you, I don't think you're very competitive with the ball anyways. You throw this sucker 3 yards out of bounds, okay? I'm not competitive. I know he's falling down, but even if he's standing straight up, he ain't catching that football. We have a chance right here, okay? Very similar to that top-down, high corner to sail concept we watched yesterday with Mendoza, where it's like, why aren't you taking Omar Cooper right now? Okay? I need all of these. Okay? That's what my notes say. I need all of these. I don't even know what that means, but I need all of them. Oh. When comparing to the other guy don't miss these. The other guy does not miss these. This ball's overthrown by a yard. And honest to God, guys, I thought this was Ty's best game of the year right here, and we still had one of these. Now, do we have pressure? Yes, we're getting touched a tad bit right here. All right, but I think we get that off clean, okay? And we miss a good explosive chunk right here. We're on top of that guy, all right? And that's a yes read, right? We got man coverage backed up in our own end. We got a slot fade to our best guy at this time in the season. Later on in the year, we kind of become like a two-headed monster with Latsir Brooks. But in this one, it's Jeremy Bernard or nothing at this point in the season, right? Can't be missing our guy like that. We've already talked about painting shoulders, right, Jonathan?
Yeah.
Already talked about painting shoulders. We don't need to talk about that one. Now, we have pressure in our face, all right? But we were really, really hypercritical on the guy yesterday, so let's be hypercritical on this guy, right? We're talking about multi-million-dollar investments. We better be hypercritical of the stock, all right? If we're 6'5", 236 pounds, does this pressure impact us as much as it does at 6'1"? He's like 198 right here, to be honest with you. He had a tummy thing going on this year. Couldn't really eat. Had some back spasms. Had some damn cracked ribs. We had all kinds of stuff going on this year. All right, goes back to that survivability thing, right? You tell me, Jonathan, if we're 6'5", 236 pounds, does Xavier, is that Jordan Hall? Does Jordan Hall make as much of an impact on this football as he does right now?
Probably not.
Probably not. All right, because here's what I'm thinking. Our shoulder levels are right here right now. Mm-hmm. Let's raise them up just a tad bit, you know what I mean? Also, maybe he's not leaping. Maybe he's hitting my midsection. Okay, all these things equate, all right, but it's all projectability. This ball sails on us because of pressure, not because of a bad throw, right? We just can't get into this. That also goes back to maybe, hey, we don't have the most horsepower, All right. I'm not saying everything's got to be perfect because it wasn't this year for him at all. But, like, we can't just, you know what I mean? We can't do that stuff. But this was the reality for us last year. And I think it's the reality in Sunday League, right? They're rushing 4 on us on what is this? This is 2nd and 8 or 2nd and 9. They're rushing 4. And it's not just like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3.5. Like, bro, they're almost walking through offensive linemen, right? And look how quickly we get to the top of our drop and get this football out. Boom, little subtle hitch, all right? And we get that ball out to a wide receiver in a spot where, again, I think we should win. Okay, I think we should win. You know what I didn't realize, Jonathan? I didn't realize I should have went back and watched this a lot closer when they played in the SEC championship game because, buddy, they boxed their ass playing man coverage in this one, even in this one. You know what I mean? Like they had that 1 rep early where the tight end got loose. But as the game progressed and they couldn't protect, Georgia just started playing man coverage and blitzing them. And that was the game plan from snap 1 in the SEC championship game. They just got in their face and got after it. But man, you put this up on the board in a room where, again, they're sitting in that war room and they're like, man, I sure would love to watch Mendoza rip a backside dig. You know what I mean? I sure would like to watch Mendoza get to a 3rd read and a progression. By God, if we get to a 4th and a check down, that'd be that'd be nice. All right. Every time it's just yes, back shoulder fade, yes, RPO slant. Okay, we're gonna we're gonna run waggle off some play action. Okay, and then you turn this sucker's tape on, and he's got this going on. All right, look at this. Where are we working first side? Or first, 1, 2, 3, 5 step, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rather. 5-step hitch or 5-step drop, 1 hitch. Good Lord, I'm having a bad day. All right. And I want you to look at this window from the backside. 1, 2, 3, 4, boom. 1 hitch up. That's an NFL football player, amen? Mm-hmm. That's what it's going to look like on Sundays, right? That's a I love football route, and you are not running it like you love football. Does your pad level say you're trying to sprint that thing off, Jonathan? No. All right, we know we're not getting the football. We know that dig is getting the football. Whew. That's a rip. All right. Thoughts?
It's Ty Simpson. That's
Yeah.
what I know him to be.
To me, man, like there is no doubt about whether or not he can play the position. The doubts about me are like whether or not we're physically capable of doing it at the world's highest levels. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, hey, man, I think it's going to work. I just don't know if it's going to last forever. Hope you enjoyed it. Hit that thumbs up button. Love you. Bye.